All right. Now you see the question: can Black America evolve without fathers? Because if I'm not mistaken, the majority of Black households is still headed by single mothers, right? What is it at today? It's like 80%, somewhere around there. Single mothers. And it don't look like it's getting no better. Look like it's getting worse. Um, you got the same amount of dysfunction and worse in the biggest Black communities. And when we talk about it, you know, when discussions are had about the so-called Black community, people always point out how there's an absence, of fathers. Like there are too many households headed by single mothers raising boys all by themselves. They point to that, and this is the number one narrative. They point to that as the number one cause of all the dysfunction that we see in Black communities, males and females. Okay, definitely the males. When you talk about the struggles, the things the Black males deal with, prison, gang life, crime, getting involved in stuff like that, stuff that sends them to an early grave, something that everybody would rather not happen. We usually point towards, hey, there was no father in the home. There was no father in the home. The boy didn't have proper guidance because there was no father in the home. He wasn't put on the right path. He wasn't taught the right things because there was no father in the home. That's the number one narrative. But what are you saying? What are we saying when we say that? Aren't we making some ridiculous assumptions when we say that? It's almost like we're saying, hey, there was no father there to save the kids from their mother. Is that what we're saying? That the mother is so dysfunctional as a parent that she won't produce nothing but dysfunctional offspring? Raise dysfunctional kids into adults? That's kind of far-fetched. That's unrealistic. So is that the smart thing to say? That the cause is because, hey, the father's not there. You make the father sound like Superman. And it sounds like that if what you're saying is true, that they end up dead by 14, 15, early 20s, mid 20s. They end up dead or in jail, in prison. Okay, you're saying because the father's not there. If that's true, then the mother shouldn't be there no matter if the father is there or not. You're saying that the mother is that dysfunctional. So does that sound like an adequate mother to have? Even if the father is there? No. Not only do you need the father there, this is based on what y'all saying. Y'all saying the father needs to be there, and he needs to be there to prevent the child from being dysfunctional. So get the mother out of there. She obviously gonna be a bad influence if she's there, period. So certainly y'all not saying that, are you? And I'm talking about the Keisha of all Keishas. I'm going straight to the most intense Keisha slogan there is. And boy, Keishas know how to go in when they start talking about the fathers not being there. So let's hear it. Are you still saying that now after my little monologue? You still want to say that now? That these dysfunctional boys are the way they are because simply the father's not there to put them on the right path? Why can't you put them on the right path? What's wrong with your mouth? I thought y'all was so confident that you could do it all by yourself. So that's not the issue. If you ask me, 3 things raise kids into adults based on my little experience. 3 main things. Your parents, and that includes your siblings. When I say parents, that includes your siblings, because your siblings definitely going to have an effect on you. And they're going to help to shape the type of adult you grow up to be, because you spend a lot of time interacting with your siblings. But that's pretty much y'all all under the same magic of your parents, under the same influence of your parents for the most part. But definitely your parents, they are the first influencers. They shape your language and everything, your personality, your spirit, and everything. Also, in this country, in this world, TV. We have to include TV. And when I say TV, I'm also talking about the internet. But before the internet, it was the TV. The TV was crazy influential. And we'll get deeper into that. Also, your peers. Your peers, the people in your neighborhood, people you go to school with. But think about it. Those people are also heavily influenced by the TV as well. And when I say TV, I'm talking about the culture. Your culture influences you. Heavy influence on the characters, the type of character you have. Black culture always existed in music, period. Whatever you hear our musicians rapping about, you are held in high esteem if you could live out what the rappers rap about. And I want to direct that too for all the people who try to downplay the significance of music on our behavior. Very heavy influence on our behavior. It has been through music, and I'm mainly talking about the rap era, that young black boys see what they're expected to be, to grow up to be. And that is reflected primarily in rap and R&B entertainment. Rap more than anything else. Because it's only with rap music are black men glorified along with women. Where are the women? See, athletes, basketball players, football players, they're not glorified in the media and on TV by pairing them with a bunch of women in fine cars and jewelry. They're just influential by shooting a basketball, throwing a football, running fast. All the extras you get from playing in the NFL or the NBA, we don't really see that unless you watch MTV Cribs or something like that. I'm old school. I'm sure they got a modern version of that. But their lifestyle is what influences young black males. We go where the money is, where the money and the women are. That's the case with all men. It's the case with all men. But it's only through rap music are black boys told, this is how you get the respect. This is how you get the women. And, this is how you get the money, through being a rapper. So I don't fault black boys, young black boys, for wanting to aspire to be a rapper. What I condemn is the poison that they put over the music, over the beats. And some of them beats is too demonic and spaced out, need to be gotten rid of too. Got to pump the brakes on some of this demonic stuff. It's real cringe. But rap and being a rapper is seen as a quick way to come up. You get everything by being a rapper. You get money. You get respect from your peers, your community. People look up to you. You get the attention. So that's what most of them want. Nobody want to work and work. You see, you don't have to put in as much work either. Football, that's take a lot of work. Basketball, take a lot of physical work. Okay? And don't nobody know you. Ain't nobody really paying attention to you. That's why the system made sure to corrupt rap. Because they knew that was where the youth developed their personality and character. So it's not the rap that's bad. It's the lyrics. It's the lyrics. Now, you know what's crazy? The people, the fans of this drill rap and gangster rap, they agree. Because every time somebody's killed, you see them saying R.I.P. Oh, this is bad. They'll start saying, hey, we need to stop mocking the dead and promoting violence. You heard Lil Durk, or you saw Lil Durk made a tweet once talking about he's going to stop mentioning the dead and disrespecting the dead in his raps. And in the comment sections, you see people say, hey, you should have been did that and all this kind of stuff. Everybody knows what the right thing to do is. Right? But they keep doing it for views. And that's the trick. That's the trick. That's how they trap you. They put the poison in the lyrics. Because most people, when it comes to this drill rap and all music in general, it's the melody that you're attracted to. With rappers, you're attracted to their style, their delivery, their work, their creativity. You know, just saying something creative. It all works. You don't have to talk about, killing people. Because whatever you're talking about in the lyrics, you're going to try to live out in real life. That's just what it is. And whoever can live out whatever you rap and whatever's being rapped about, whoever actually living that life is the most respected. That's why those views go through the roof when they rap about real people who've been murdered. Real murder cases that you can verify, that you can look up. If rappers claim to be responsible for that, or maybe there's proof or something, that is what gets the most attention. Why? You're possessed by the music. 50 Cent rapped a rhyme once talking about how his fans become possessed by the music and shoot people. I'm pretty sure y'all have heard several rappers talk like that. Music it possesses you. It's magical. Words matter. This is common sense. Words matter. Words are powerful. What type of parent refuses to monitor the words that their youngsters are absorbing? Are mothers incapable of doing it? They're not incapable. The biggest problem today is black males divesting away from black women. That's the biggest problem in today's era. And always stay mindful listening to these videos. I'm always speaking in terms of Black America being on a path to extinction, which they are. And I'm explaining how, exactly how, and the only ways to rectify it. This is about survival. I don't care about nothing else. Words matter. Are the mothers capable of regulating the words that condition their youngsters? Yes, they are. A lot of black men are looking at the fact that so few of them actually do. And they are divesting away from this careless spirit, hateful spirit that they sense. Now, some of us can't even explain it. I'm not even saying that I can explain it clearly. But many of us, and they're all productive black men who are on this, and they're not all that productive. Not all of them are, real productive. Some of them make low wages. They throwing in the towel as well. This is the worst thing to happen to black America because, of course, the homes, marriage, that's where everything starts. But it started at a time when black American relationships were at rock bottom already. Already. I mean, this basically happened at a time when after all this divestment movement and all this swirl movement has been going on, with infuriated a lot of black men. But that was a fake divestment. If you ask me, in my opinion, they were just laying up with white dudes. That was all they was doing. The facts show it. They did not increase their marital rate. Their marital rate with white men did not increase. But, some of them got mixed kids. But this divestment with black men were already divesting more than black women. Already. More than white men divest from white women. And really more than Asian men divest away from Asian women. Asian women date out heavily, but not so much with Asian men. And that was being talked about. But black men were not rubbing it in nobody's face. We wasn't bragging about it and dragging black women's identity through the mud while we were dating these white women, because we come from families of big mama, grandma. Women are upheld, pedestalized in the black community, always have been. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. Black men were not dating white women at a higher rate than black women were dating white men and being malicious about it. No, they were not. They were just doing it, dating, and still being respectful with to black women. So why give that group of men incentive to avoid black women? That's the worst thing you could possibly do. And it happened. It grew legs and happened. So this is the worst time for black female relationships, and it's because black men detect an evil spirit in black women. That's it in a nutshell. I don't care how long they sit up talking about, oh, they're mean. Well, just listen to what they're saying. I told you what I see as the leader of this narrative is accountable commentary. His narrative is the fastest growing among black males right now. If you ask me, based on the numbers, this is not even actually, this is based on the math. Divestment away from black women. They sense this evil spirit, this meanness. They listen to what they're saying. They're talking about how mean, disrespectful, violent, always want to punch you and attack you. Many of these black men are not violent, didn't come from, they don't get down like that. But here's a woman stabbing them, ruining their life, and constantly disrespecting them. And that's a constant. The disrespect is like fixed into the culture, into Keisha culture, we call it. And I don't think these black men are crazy. I don't think they're crazy. What they're trying to get away from is an evil spirit. Now, saying that it's an evil spirit, that's showing respect to black women. I'm not saying that you're genetically dysfunctional, that it's in your genes. I'm not saying nothing like that. I'm saying y'all are carrying demons. Real demons. There's a price to pay when you go through the stuff we went through. You think it's just a physical thing we go through? Oh, you were slaves, you had to work, and so what you think it's just no different from labor today that you do? Nah. You gotta be in a certain state of mind to accept that type of lifestyle, and it's gotta be backwards. So when you forced to live a backwards lifestyle, you're basically being installed, you having demons put inside you. You're working against your own best interests, against the best quality of your own life. You working to an early grave, and you operate during your life to just to live in squalor. Right? You working against your own best interest. And they're trying to get away from this demon that I identify as basically black feminism. That's what it is. Over the decades, it has been the rejection of black males as fathers and leaders. Fatherhood, the rejection of black fatherhood and black leadership destroyed black America. To whatever extent that you think it's destroyed, it was the rejection of black fathers and black leadership. And I'm not saying that there's some black male magic. The same thing would have happened if any group of women had rallied against their own men, especially if they were in the same situation as us. All right, this is all math here. Now, I've said this several times. Maybe some people didn't believe me. Maybe you'll believe Wikipedia. This is their piece on black feminism. And I want you to look at the very first sentence under early history. It says, black feminism has been around since the time of slavery. See that? So when we talk about black feminism as a problem, when we leave out the slave era, you are incomplete. Your analysis is incomplete. You got to go to where it started and deal with the role it played. And how it grew into what you have today. That era is when they started to have this mindset that we were not necessary. Black men were not necessary, were not needed for the enrichment of, to increase their quality of life. For their very survival, black men were not needed. What black women did need is the acceptance of the slave master. Their life depended on being accepted by their slave master. That's already a backwards thing. And you're raised like this from birth, yeah, that itself gonna put demons. That's a demon itself. Backwardness. You don't need him. He's constantly disrespected and powerless, to some extent. Although there was always, black men who wasn't having it. But that is the early seeds of what we looking at and dealing with today. The slave era. Real simple to understand if you ask me. Especially if they're the house slave, right? And they spend a lot of time with massa, you can imagine. For her to stay alive, she would sort of have to learn how to get along with them. To have some type of peaceful life, the best thing for you to do is figure out how to get along with them. Okay? And it was during this time also that they lost the value for motherhood. Now, this was mandatory. It was a part of the experience. So, I mean, think about it. You go your whole life never knowing, never valuing motherhood or parenthood. So if one day you say, okay, now you're free to do what you want, what you supposed to just magically know how to do it again? When you look at the slave era, that's what you need to focus on. Don't focus on the emotion. Oh, it was so horrible. Oh, the emotions. Move past that. Move past that. Don't dwell on how horrible it was. Look at it mathematically. What went wrong? How did it go wrong? What happened? What do you do? What do you need to do to reverse it? So yeah, a lot of things. You had to develop a whole different brain, basically. Under slavery, your brain had to be reconfigured. And I'm saying literally, like slaves had areas of their brain that wasn't functioning. In some areas that wasn't functioning in white people's brains. And in the connections, you do have to, under trauma, and going into a different world or being enslaved like that is going to traumatize you. Under trauma, your brain, literal brain, physical brain changes. When that happens, you have a different spirit. When I deal with like spirit, I'm really dealing with that, with energy, how it manifests in us. It's through our brain, how our brain operates, the connections between the brain, how intensely different areas of the brain interact with each other, stuff like that. And when you're under trauma, and that's why, in order to correct trauma like that, you have to go through behavioral therapy. And that literally changes how your brain operates. Okay, all the knowledge we need is available to us. We're just not looking at it. Now I want to show y'all something. It's a little disturbing. It's the rejection of fatherhood that hurt Black America the most, based on my research. There was a woman named Mary Ann Weathers. She published a book February 1969 called No More Fun and Games, a journal of female liberation. She said all women suffer oppression, even white women, particularly poor white women, especially Indian, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Oriental, and Black American women, whose oppression is tripled by any of the above mentioned. But we do have females' oppression in common. This means that we can begin to talk to other women with this common factor and start building links with them, and thereby build and transform the revolutionary force we are now beginning to amass. No. The only links you're supposed to be working on is between you and your men. Period. This is all kinds of out of order right here. And they're talking about this second wave feminism. Really? 1969, at the exact point where we were turned up, you had this growing legs. Oh, we need to unite and wrap arms around all the women of the world. What WTF is this? This is the downfall of Black America right here, and acting on it. That's what it is. What has it done? Show us the benefit of this mentality right here. Wanting to bond, that was the same case with the women's suffrage. Even though they was getting the boot. Listen, this is her right here. This is Mary Ann Weathers right here. Emphasizes the idea of what? Gender unification, by calling to light the categories of gender over the categories of race, like Black men have always been talking about. One of the problems we've identified is their lack of value for race. That is the downfall of Black America. Simple as that. That is insane thinking. Gender over race? No. You need to know why. Look, ain't no other women doing that. And any of them who are, they just as single and backwards as you are. Just as messed up in the game as you are. This whole feminism thing is a way to reverse, another way they have tried to reverse nature, the natural role of man and woman. That's the perfect way to disrupt the family unit. That's what it is. That's why when the family unit was intact, we were just fine. Of course, the idea of being look at this. Of course, the idea of being othered as female and Black is something African American men cannot understand. Really? What is there to understand about that? We're rejected as men. You're rejected as women. What more do we need to know? How bad you feel that the other women ain't accepting you as their sister? Listen, that ain't nothing for us to understand, and we're not going to teach our daughters like that. What type of insanity is this right here? Huh? This is some sad, very sad self-hate right here, boy. And notice how it's just totally, the woman is disconnected from her man. Where the other women looking at themselves as their men's counterpart. They're looking at the other women, and if you're looking at the other women over your men, why wouldn't you look at those women's men, look up to their men as well, as being more important than your man as well? How far removed are these women from their men anyway? Aren't they closer to their men than they are to you? This is what caused the downfall of Black America right here. Acceptance of backwardness, embracing it. What you worried about being othered by other women for? Let's deal with that. What you worried? Why does that bother you? They tell you they don't want your black face over there with them playing double dutch. You start crying. You come back over to your black female friends crying. Well, what is this? Who cares? We ain't worried about being accepted by Hector and Brad, right? Or any of these other dudes. We literally go away from dudes. We migrate to ourselves and do our own thing. And then they end up moseying over to us doing what we doing. Then you see them breakdancing and using ebonics and listening to rap. We do the opposite of what y'all was doing here. Well, let's deal with that. Let's talk. I ain't trying to jump on you. Let's deal with that. This is the downfall of Black America right here. Going against your men. And listen, this is started in slavery. With slavery is mandatory. You had to look down on black men as fathers, as leaders. So again, you're free of people like that. What, you supposed to magically start seeing your men as leaders now? No. How could you? You supposed to magically respect them as fathers now? How? You've always known them as mandingos. Right? Somebody just plant the seed. Somebody who's dominated. And stuff like that. Now, they would witness revolts and stuff like that, but they were always aware that, white men had control of the guns. Had control of it, and they were ultimately, so they always looked up to white men in that sense. And the same thing would have happened with any other group of women. Again, I'm not saying that nothing is dysfunctionally wrong. This is what happens when you go through your particular experience, right? Again, I don't get into all that emotional stuff. But y'all should have acted better. This hurt us. You are trying to reach out, actually physically supporting these other women and their suffrage and all this goofiness. Look at this. Therefore, the idea of joining a movement that associates you with white women becomes a means of dissent to African American men that are struggling for civil liberties. This is the same narrative that was going on in the suffrage movement when they were helping white women get the vote above helping black men get the vote, that is what all it was about. The suffrage movement was about white women ridiculing white men for the idea of giving black men the right to vote before giving them the right to vote. That's all that was, a race thing between white women and white men. How dare you give Negro men the right to vote before you give us the right to vote? And we had black women feeling like they were a part of that, above being a part of helping black men get the vote. So black men getting the right to vote in 1870. 1870 or 1872, somewhere around there. Black men got the right to vote. They could have got it earlier had our women not been helping white women above us. It's crazy. That is insane. Any group of women would have been wrong for that. But what could black men do? What could they do to stop it? Nothing. That's why black men have never been oppressive or nothing like that. We'd have stopped them from doing that if we would have had some kind of power over them or something. This is insane. I told y'all. This desire to be somebody else, it hurts. It will hurt any people. Any people. You gotta, if black Americans are gonna survive, you gotta snap out of that. To Weathers, look at this. To Weathers, placing race over gender, although often done, is a direct impact of the male gaze and its control over the female body and agency development. Black male leadership, fatherhood, exercising discipline in the home was viewed as evil. It was demonized. Even though it was the holiest thing you could imagine, it's a natural thing, having a father, it was demonized. Okay, if this didn't contribute to the dysfunction you see today, tell me what did. If this ain't it, what did? We got to look at how, it was intense, how fatherhood was devalued in Black America. You don't need them. You don't need your father. But look at how much y'all needed your mother. Can't imagine life without your mother. Nothing wrong with that. But you're supposed to have that same reverence for your father. You're supposed to. That caused some serious damage. And this is insane. She writes, Black women, okay, enough of that. Some of you see the thumbnail to this, and I want to pay respect to a lost rapper. Nothing disturb me more than the loss of all of these young Black male rappers to gun violence, to unnecessary beefs. You understand? It disturbs me. It really, really bothers me. And he was killed. He was a drill rapper. He was killed in Chicago, downtown, in a prestigious area in broad daylight. All over rap lyrics. It was all over rap lyrics. Had none of these rappers ever dissed the dead and instead rapped about the sun, moon, and stars, nobody would have been getting blown away. Even though they were in gangs. And understand, gangs today are not the same as they were back in the day. Back in the day, most disputes were over business, money. Somebody owed you money and didn't pay. You wasn't just going out shooting people for fun, taking the risk of getting killed yourself or getting locked up just because you wanted to shoot somebody for fun. But doing stuff like that got them a lot of views, and it was a way for them to be a successful rapper. It was a guaranteed way for you to have a lot of views on your music. So it was like a fixed in form of benefit from sacrifice. Sacrificing someone else's life, and you benefit by rapping about it and making a come up as a rapper. It's very sad stuff. Very demonic, very anti-human, anti-life. The devaluing of human life disturbs me, and that's all I deal with pretty much online. But nothing like these cases here. This guy's name was FBG Duck. FBG, from what I understand, is a set in Chicago. The video that I played at the beginning of this is of FBG Duck. He was one of these modern rappers. Like I said, sorry about that. Like I said, he was a drill rapper. And I don't really like these modern rappers. But FBG Duck was very, very talented. Even though he was a drill rapper, he was extremely talented as a rapper. His style, he's very clever with his wordplay, and he had a lot of good production. But the problem was the hate, the dissing, being dissed and dissing back, and I don't know who that is. I don't know whose mom that is. Yeah, that was the only problem. And drill rap is an outgrowth of gangster rap. Gangster rap involved a lot of rappers who's never even put in no work, never shot nobody. A lot of them never even shot a gun. But they was rapping about being a killer. Well, like I just explained, this is the outgrowth of that. Drill rap is totally different. Totally different. Now, GDs, a lot of people don't know this. GDs actually, in Chicago, actually run like a real organization. They even once had control of a huge building where they had people on the roof, night vision goggles, and they made like thousands of dollars every single day. Okay. But I want y'all to understand, for example, in those projects in the south side of Chicago called the Low End, Michelle Obama used to live in those projects. Y'all can look this up. And Michelle Obama said that back then, and we're talking about the 60s, she said back then it was nowhere near as bad as it is today. And I believe her. What separates it? Because the 60s, there were gangs back then, just like there are today. What separated? It's the music that they're possessed by. That's why today it's a sport. Whatever you hear in the rap lyrics, you respect it if you live it out in real life. That's how you get clout in real life, whatever it is. Jewelry, whatever. So, what's the job of the parent? It's to regulate the music your child listens to, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Isn't that thought, right? Regulate the music your child listens to. That's one responsibility of a parent, no matter if it's one or two. Is the mother incapable of doing that? I know it might be difficult, but let's understand. Don't nobody else have control of your kid's mind, let's say between age 0, at least 5? Is that fair? You know how much your brain grows between that time? Realistically, it's like age 7. I mean, you got complete control over their brain. And to a good degree, what they find interest to. You got control of their interests. Whatever you allow to influence them. Between those ages, if you raise them on opera, most likely they'll like opera by the time they're 7 years old or understand the music. Right? Right. It's a tough job because you got to keep the television away from them. There's no internet during this time. Understand, they started to conduct very malicious experiments on Black America in the 1970s. They started to do this through our music, starting with 1970s music. That's when degenerate music in Black America started in 1970s. This was by design. It wasn't coincidence. Okay, they would be required to join these different groups, required to glorify certain things. It started out very mild. Today it's like blatant in your face. Okay? certain messages, right? They had to support. Started and it really, look how fast it grew from the 70s, 80s, 90s. Look at the 90s. That's overnight, like literally. 2024 is not that much different from 2004, if you ask me. Music wise, I don't think there's music from 2004 that I'm sure a lot of people still listen to today. It really sounds just as competitive as music today. That's not the same gap music wise from the 1990s compared to the 1970s, 1960s, whatever. And understand, gangster rap, which gave birth to drill rap, gangster rap was essentially created by the Letter Boys. Think about that. An artificial personality for young black boys. This was specially designed for young black boys. And really the promotion and glorification of the pimp culture was similar, but that was the starting phase. But it took the Letter Boys to prop gangster rappers up, to promote them like that, to make them, to legitimize them, essentially. To give these boys, because there's no father, they need somebody to look up to, right? So give these rappers a bunch of money, right? Give them the swag, give them the women, give them the cars. Who else they're gonna want to be? What else are they gonna want to be? That music is gonna shape their very culture. Right? That's what it is. And the women, same thing. They're going to find out or discover what a woman's supposed to be or what they're supposed to be. What's supposed to be sexy, what isn't, from these goofy videos. That's what it is. There's no other way to explain the huge difference in the personality of the masses between 2 or 3 little old decades. Take your pick, the decades you want to compare. I like to compare the 90s to the 60s. That's far too short of a gap for, like the collective character, personality of the people, social interactions, style of social interactions, interests, collective shared interests. No other way other than by design for it to change that dramatically, that rapidly. Sad story with this FBG Duck, because he was a big kid. Here I think he was about 17. He was huge. Pretty much every scene I've seen him, he bigger than everybody around him. But these guys were around his same age. So he was a real good fighter. He could have been a fighter. He could have been a boxer or something like that. But again, boxers not really promoted as the ones desired by the women in your community. And it's hard to escape gang life. It's hard to escape gang life because in some cases, especially in some parts of Chicago, if you're not in a gang, you're going to get bullied like non-stop, just beat up for fun. Like you can't even come outside in some cases. And to have some other people control the messages in the music that your kids consume, that can't happen. That just can't happen. If it does, and you yourself are abusive, yeah, they're not going to turn out too good. They're going to be dysfunctional. They're going to end up in an early grave, taken out way too soon, or be thrown in prison way too young. Way too young. You have to control their interests. You have to control their interests. Don't talk to them like babies. Don't use baby talk. Talk to them like they're adults from the very first time they're born. In fact, long before they're born. Baby talk, I've always suspected, was something that was instructed to slaves so to keep the young dumb, because they understand that those ages are the time when you turn them into geniuses. The earliest ages, that's when you create and produce geniuses. So we were instructed, use stupid, goofy baby talk. Don't talk to them seriously. Now, with that in mind, and I heard he used to fight a lot. FBG Duck used to fight a lot. That he was a real good fighter. Sad stuff, man. But this is an interview of FBG Duck. He was killed in 2020. R.I.P. to him. And all of the fallen, sad stuff, man. Listen to what he says here.
When you see some of the young kids out here, do you feel like they don't really value their life? Like they don't really give a fuck?
I mean, it's a lot of kids. A lot of motherfuckers really don't be having their parents. You feel me? So it's like, I don't know what's running through the next motherfucker head. Like, I don't know what they been told. I don't know what type of guidance they got. So when I look at a little kid, I mean, I look at them as kids. Like, I don't look at them as threats, or I don't look at them as I want to hurt them. I look at them as kids. But teenage, anybody that's older than 15, 16, 17, anything around that age, like, I feel like you know something. You feel me? So it's like, you should know where you want to be in life by the time you're 15 years old. It's a lot of shit you can do with yourself. Like, you choose what you want to do. You feel me? Like, you can go, when you're 15 years old, that's a fresh start. You feel me? So it's like, you 15. You finna just jump in these streets. You ain't got to jump in the streets. You can go play sports. You can go to school. You can go get a job. You can do whatever. It's what you choose you want to do. You feel me? Like, I could tell you what I want you to do every day, all day. But it's what you want to do.
Now, I felt like that was a mouthful. And I felt like he spoke for a lot of us, include myself, who, especially young black males, who were not guided into no specific path. That we were not groomed to be, say, a boxer, an engineer. We wasn't groomed into physics. You know, those interests were not developed. No interests were developed at the youngest ages. We just found ourselves, all of a sudden we were teenagers, and we were told to figure out what we want to do. Just no guidance at all. And you notice with the geniuses, they've all been guided from a very young age. It's very simple. Very simple. A lot of black men I know can relate to that. You who were raised by single mothers, most of you, not all of you, most of you were not really guided into no career, into no skill at those very, very young ages. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about.
their money. Matter of fact, this kid could read and write even before the age of 3. No big deal, right? Wrong. Ramani went.
Okay, as the video catches up, you heard that? 3 different languages by the age of 3.
Could read and write even before the age of 3.
Could read and write before the age of 3.
No big deal, right? Wrong. Ramani went ahead and scored a whooping 162 on the Mensa IQ test when he was just 10 years old.
Now, we've all seen these types of videos. How do y'all think this stuff happens? How do y'all think these youngsters are able to play multiple instruments by age 5, 7? They're taught from an extremely young age. That's what it is. And they go on to be something in line with what they're highly skilled at. That's all it is. Not rocket science. That's all it is. So can we rely on the mothers to do this? I know that's a loaded question because we have a few decades as an example of, whether they can or can't. Should we assume that they didn't know this? It's pretty crazy how young you can start to teach them, and they'll catch on at those extremely young ages. Think about this now. So in a home where gangsters come out of, or let's say criminals, people who's full of conflict and hate, who talk about harming others and mock the dead and stuff like that. It's disrespectful no matter how you slice it. And I wish, that wasn't so, but that's how it is. But it's very disrespectful, and it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be accepted. And you should definitely not let your kids listen to that type of music. You should break your neck protecting them from stuff like that. Right? Well, I want you to listen to this. Man, this is very sad. This is the mother of FBG Duck. Now, FBG Duck, most believe he was taken out because of a song he made about a month before he was taken out. It was very disrespectful. He disrespected multiple people who have passed in a real bad way. And this is what drill rap is about. Mock people who have been killed. It's hard to even reflect on. It's so disturbing. That level of devaluing of life, if you ask me, is outrageous that it's promoted on the mainstream level. Oh, it's promoted on the mainstream level. But with that in mind, his mother made a confession on this video. But I want you to listen to his mother. She is upset because a famous rapper named Lil Durk disrespected FBG Duck, disrespected him after his passing. Okay. Disrespected her son after his passing in a song, which is what drill rap is all about. And she is aware that her son used to do the same thing. And that's, basically why he was taken out. Again, had he been rapping about, the stars in the sun, something else, he would have been taken out. He wouldn't have been a part of any beef anywhere. Nobody would have ever seen him as a threat if he were rapping about something else. And he was so talented, I feel like he could have. He never had to get into drill rap, but that was part of the culture that was festering, that had grown legs. But his mother is now speaking against, disrespecting people, rappers, and who've passed, because it hurts their family. It's very disrespectful. But I was listening to this, and I was kind of disappointed that she didn't speak against, her son, what her son was doing. Her son, those who know, he was doing the same thing that they were doing. And it's like, okay, where'd your son get it from? Yeah, he got it from the culture and all that. Could you have protected him from it? How were you fighting against it? Because here's the question. Are single mothers an influence in their child's life or not? That's ultimately the question. They are. All parents are. All parents are. And if you're doing something detrimental, you should not do that. You should be aware of what you're doing. You can't just raise kids any old kind of way. But I was like, okay, I felt like it was kind of hypocritical. I'm like, okay, is she going to speak against? And then she does mention, I'm going to play bits and pieces of this. Just listen.
To get high as fuck. He about to get high like Duck. Who? Dirk.
Dirk hurt cause V-Roy gone. He hurt V-Roy.
Well, he better take that shit who made the V-Roy gone. Not my motherfucking son. Cause he ain't do it. Remember they had a song together. Remember they had their differences. Motherfuckers study one for the industry. This is proof. Y'all really showing, y'all rich out mixing in my motherfucking son. Y'all rich out mixing in Tuka. Show your crap. Do something else besides this and music. Show motherfuckers that you really, cause go pop. Like my son was trying to do. He was trying to cross over. Your ass sitting up here mixing in somebody who ain't getting too fucked about you. He was right. You probably did Illuminati him. You probably did send him to get bodied. Now you study dissing my motherfucking son. And it's Christmas. Beautiful Christmas.
Where my phone at?
Beautiful Christmas.
It went dead.
Okay. So as I listen, I'm at this point in the video, I'm like, okay, she's kind of trying to speak against drill rap in general. She's kind of trying to speak against the whole idea of disrespecting the dead in general. So I'm with her at this point. I'm like, okay, she's doing it in her own way, fine. But let's continue.
That don't make no sense. How y'all used to be as one. Y'all got y'all ass in the industry and blackball all the motherfucking GDs. Try to any motherfucking way. I'ma just keep that shit real. Shit don't make no sense. Why is this man mixing in my son? He never did it while he was alive. And if he did do it, he sneak this and do it. He sneak this and do it. He always went around it. Oh, now you're so freely. You can say my son's name. He knocked your out, baby. Go after the motherfuckers who got your ass sick. You feeling like us. We ought to fucking unite and show these motherfuckers, or whatever the case may be. You coming for the wrong motherfucker, baby. You coming from the wrong motherfucker. How the fuck he gonna run something? He can't even fucking come here. Get y'all goofy ass on. He could come here. He'll come here with 1,000. He wasn't walking around this bitch like Carlton was. And that's to be expected. But you down there motherfucking mogul, and you still going around here talking about duck and you dissing somebody dead, G, like. You ought to say you had somebody else. Why the fuck you mentioning my son, though? What's your purpose? Goofy ass. You a fucking goofy. You just pissed me off because I saw you bigger than that. I saw you better than that. I saw you being a bigger man, G. But you ain't no worse than the motherfuckers you hang around. You don't want nothing better because you out the hood. You ain't got to be here. You want Chicago to stay fucked up instead of trying to make it better. But you're study dissing motherfuckers who you wouldn't have dared diss if they was still a fucking alive.
Okay, now, at this point, I thought that was a good point. Lil Durk is a big time rapper, mainstream. He's been credited by Drake. He's in a video with Drake. He's as big as it gets. Lil Durk is big as it gets. Whereas FBG Duck was like a local rapper. So she's saying, why diss a local rapper after his passing? Lil Durk made a song, I think it was called You Shoulda Ducked or something like it, something real disrespectful. And that's why she's upset. Like, why are you still, dissing my son? So I'm like, and that was a good point, that she's trying to keep, she said that, hey, you're keeping riffraff up in Chicago when you don't even come here. You don't live here, and you don't come here. But Durk can stir up the pot, can cause people to have conflict in Chicago without being there based on the things that he says. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm with her. At least to that extent, I'm with her.
You wasn't mixing my motherfucking son. Now he dead, you mixing him? Oh my God, this industry, a bunch of fucking faggots. Y'all some fucking faggots, though, for real. Hell yeah, I'm mad. Because I'm well off while you bitches then got rich off dissing my motherfucking sons. Yeah, I'm mad. And then y'all want to try to act like y'all don't know. Who the fuck y'all think them niggas fucking talking about? Who they talking about? Goofy ass motherfucker. Motherfuckers, while we trying to figure out what happened to Duck, you police ass motherfuckers, y'all gonna go to court and everything. Clearly show that motherfucker should have never walked up on that boy and hit him. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. My son was hit, took out the way, cause y'all ass mad. See him come up like that. You didn't want to see it. Y'all need sense. Make it make sense,
Somebody
y'all.
call Lachey.
Brought a date named Sam.
Baby, I pray for these disrespectful people on here. Because they must ain't had no mama or no grandma and they ain't taught they ass nothing.
Now, at this point, I braced myself. I'm like, okay, am I about to hear from her how she actually tried to raise Duck to be something else or do something else. Because listen, I'd rather FBG Duck to be here, to still be here, but rapping about something else, not disrespecting the dead or disrespecting nobody, because he was a talented artist who he made very good music. That's why he was kind of mainstream himself. He's kind of mainstream himself. Not really mainstream, but he was known by, all the mainstream rappers. So his family, everybody has to agree that they wish he were still here as well. If he would have been able to make money, a bunch of money, just like he was, doing something else or rapping about something else, I'm sure even his family would prefer that. So when she said this, I braced myself. Okay, let me hear, how she contributed. Because it sounded like she was about to go into it by saying, y'all ain't never had no mama or grandmama to teach y'all nothing. What she say here?
It can make sense,
Somebody
y'all.
call Lachey.
I brought a date named Sam.
Baby, I pray for these disrespect.
Then she got kind of holy. She prayed. I'm like, oh. She said, I'm like, oh, pray. Here come the Lord. I brace myself.
For people on here. Because they must ain't had no mama or no grandma and they ain't taught their ass nothing. Unlike my son, he had a lot of manners.
Oh. This is interesting to me.
And y'all know he did that shit for the fans. That's what they wanted.
Now that right there, that is when I disconnected and I broke down. Broke down when she said that. She said that he, talking about her son, did that for the fans.
A date named Sam.
Baby, I pray for these disrespectful people on here. Because they must ain't had no mama or no grandma and they ain't taught their ass nothing. Unlike my son, he had a lot of manners. And y'all know he did that shit for the fans. That's what they wanted. But he was more than that. Unlike other motherfuckers that's in it. In that shit. Took off. Well off. But you ain't got shit else to do.
No. She's saying, man. She's talking about Lil Durk and rappers like Lil Durk. They're already big rappers. So there's no need, she's saying there's no need for them to make music like that where they're disrespecting the dead. No reason for them to do that. But she's sort of kind of saying it was necessary for her son to do it because he wasn't as big as they are now. So basically giving him a pass for doing that as if it was necessary for him to do. I don't think it was. And I would have preferred that that he hadn't. And that none of these rappers. This is just a crazy turn. And I saw it at the beginning of gangster rap. I saw it as soon as gangster rap came onto the scene. It felt like an agenda. I'm like, okay, why is the establishment promoting this? Them making it legal, they're putting a stamp of approval on it. Okay, why? And lo and behold, it has been an agenda. Yeah. Said they did that for the fans. Again, that gets you a lot of views if you disrespect the dead. I can't even explain it. It's very twisted and sick and evil. How can such evil come out of any home is beyond me. It is beyond me. Okay, now here's where it gets serious.
But you ain't got shit else to do. Nothing else to talk about. Nothing else to talk about. Nothing else to do. The fact that I like music, I like it. I had my son listening to our music. I had him listening to Chief Keef. I had him listening to Durk. I had them listening to Osane. I had them listening to Herb. He didn't discriminate.
Now, you heard her say she had him listening to these rappers. Lil Durk, Chief Keef, somebody else, somebody I don't even know. But gangster rappers, drill rappers who just, basically disrespect the dead and brag about killing and glorify killing, harming people. The thing is, if you don't want people to act out what you're rapping about, then you shouldn't rap about it. Whatever you're rapping or singing about, you should expect it to be acted out by people in the society. That's just common sense. But did his mother contribute to the conditioning? Did she try to condition him on something positive or negative? Where did she play a role in his liking to that type of content that really got him taken out? That kind of content that got him taken out. I felt like she just admitted that she conditioned him on it. In other words, she herself was listening to those rappers while he was extremely young, at those vulnerable ages where your mind is, very vulnerable and it's being shaped. It's being shaped. That's what it is. So I think it's irrefutable that she played a role in his decision to talk about that type of content. He didn't just pick it up on his own. I hear people saying that a lot of boys come out of homes where single mothers maybe listen to R&B, let's say love songs, nothing but love songs. And that's true. I've known some black women like that who themselves never listened to rap. That's not no rap, period. All they listen to is like R&B, old R&B, stuff like that. But would they allow their kids to listen to it? That's the question. And they would. And that's where the influence comes from, the music and their peers. There's no teaching. The mom's not teaching against it. The mom is like not even there. She listens to other music and doesn't object to him listening to the demonic music, the death rap, what people call it, death rap. And that's all that's required for him to get involved into it themselves and end up dead as a teen, maybe. If not, definitely in their 20s. It's crazy. The ultimate problem is the devaluing of life to the point where you yourself are on the path to an early grave. And it's sad because FBG Duck he was trying to live like a normal life, I thought. That was his reason for going out there downtown shopping by himself. He wanted to just feel like, a normal person. Hey, I want to go shopping. But he could not do that. It was dangerous for him to simply go downtown Chicago by himself. That is insane. That's insane for anybody's life to be in that much danger. That's what it is. That's what it is. I don't care. I'll sound like the old man in the room.
So can't nobody tell me what me and my kids then went through or what they appear. Everything them boys tried to do was for survival. Now when it comes to this rap stuff, I don't care. If you dissing somebody, they all do it. They diss people. So that means somebody should die. If that's the case, everybody should be dead then. From the Vons to the Bricks to the Dirks to the fucking Ducks to the Young Boys to the everybody, and they ain't even, you know what, all this anger is coming towards us, and we're not even the ones who caused Von demise.
Okay, do you agree with that explanation as to why it's, acceptable to diss the dead? Hey, what's wrong with it? Everybody do it. Do you agree with that? I don't agree with that. No. That's not an excuse for you to do it or to support it. No. You don't get involved in that at all. You show respect. You be respectful. It's that simple. You better rap about Kermit the Frog, right? Looney Tunes. Anything else. Yeah, no. That is insane to me. Talking as if that's the only option, or like you're not going to suffer no consequences, mocking dead people and their family. That is insane to think that you should be able to do that and not have people want to get at you. No. That's not how, no. Can we trust the mothers? Can Black America evolve? Can they remain on this earth with 80% of the homes headed by the mothers? How has it worked out so far? How has it worked out so far? I said that Foolio's mother likely listened to rap, gangster rap, when Foolio was young, and a lot of people disagreed with me. Say, no, she's a nurse and all this kind of stuff. Fine. Well, here, she admitted to, this music is very dangerous for anybody, because you always try to act out the lyrics. Lyrics and music are really a reflection of the culture. It's the basis of the culture. Everything you hear in the rap lyrics, you see people trying to duplicate in real life. From the clothes, jewelry, automobiles, dances, right? Dances, your little twerking moves. They have evolved twerking. Everything, your energy, your swag. It's seen in both. You don't see Black America in cowboy hats and cowboy boots. Okay? You just don't see them in the real world opposite what their music is pushing. That's how influential words are. And I feel like that's a simple thing to understand. And if the mothers can't understand that and raise kids based on that, I don't think Black America has a chance. It seems to me that fathers are far more likely to get kids started on a path to a profession at an extremely early age. They're more likely to do that than the mothers. Is that fair? Can I say that without anybody feeling disrespected? I hope so, because I'm going to say that. And if that's true, then the fathers are mandatory. mandatory. In fact, black males as leaders in general, you have to follow what their lead. You have to follow their lead. That's what it is. That is what it is. Sad story. Guy was just, I think it was his birthday or something. This was 2 days before his father was supposed to come home after a lengthy prison stint. He went to prison when FBG Duck was a kid. Just 2 days. Now, this is a plaque his mother held up. I think it was in 2020. A song that he made on YouTube at that time had over 50 million views. And I believe FBG Duck was like, he had a pretty good living as a rapper. But it's the content. It's the lyrics that you got to protect kids from. Is it impossible? Do y'all really think it's impossible to, have kids understand the trap and sidestep it, not become a part of violence and craziness that's going on with the problem is, why is that even necessary? Why is it festering to the point where everybody in the neighborhood, where like the majority of the neighborhood is like that? Is right? That's the real problem. Now I believe there'll continue to be black males and females coming out of single mother-headed homes who are okay, who productive, they live a straight and narrow, take care of themselves, and they don't fall into violence. But if you don't take seriously premature death and the devaluing of life, I think that's a mental problem. If you don't look at that as a problem, because it's a problem on so many levels, it's a problem. And me personally, I don't care where I live. My child sorry about that. My child will not listen to drill rap. First of all, between age 0 and let's say what? Man, I'm gonna homeschool my child at least to about age 12, something like that. Yeah, they won't hear no drill rap at all. How about that? How about everything they hear will be from the 50s and 60s? How about that? How you think what you think they gonna think? They gonna like it. They gonna like it, and that's gonna be what it is. Now, we can throw in some modern stuff, but I'll be highly selective. Right? It'll be what I want them to be groomed on. And just see what happens. Is this even being tried? And during that time, teach them about the trap. This is a big trap, if you ask me. And it's a goofy trap. It's a very goofy trap. And listen, when it comes to rap music, when it comes to any music, like I said, it's all about the beat, the style, and delivery. That's all it's about. You can talk about anything. You can talk about anything. You can be cocky, you can be arrogant. Right? That's what they like to do, right? You can do all that without disrespecting nobody. Yeah? Really that simple. I think that's a goofy trap. That's a goofy trap to feed the prison. You mean it's prevalent to the point where this type of spirit feeds the prison system and the graveyard at an increased level? Really? You want go ahead and argue how this is acceptable when this is not happening with other groups like that. You got a whole prison system being fed, and they're being fed like well. Prison system is being fed well because of criminality that's glorified in your music. And what we're supposed to just assume that the music has no influence and it's impossible to, protect kids from being influenced by music. I can't buy that. A person who says your music, it doesn't have that kind of influence on your behavior, how would you know if you raised them on Lil Wayne? If you raised them on this drill rap and stuff, how would you know that they wouldn't turn out different had they not? Goofy. I think gangster rap was a goofy trap, and I saw it. And you know what else? Before gangster rap, there was already like a tough guy culture, but it involved more fist fights. A lot of people look at the willingness and the rampant use of guns as effeminate. Because anybody can pull a trigger, you're going to get the exact same results. So it's all about how willing you are. Again, that's dumb. Put yourself in the early grave. Who's that light-skinned drill rapper who died running? He ran inside somebody's house trying to shoot him. Bloodhound something. It was Bloodhound something. A lot of these guys get killed, and kids trying to kill somebody else. Yes, just for clout, just to be a rapper. And that's the thing today. And it's it's widely accepted and supported by the system, by the establishment. 100%. It's very sad. So, listen. There is no stopping this divestment. A lot of black men look at this as the result of what they, of the mothers, for whatever reason, rejected the fathers, and this is the result. So, if the fathers are there, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to protect the boys from these influences? Why can't the mother do it? Do the father have to do it? How would he do it? How would he do it? I just explained it. Right? Why can't the mother do it? Okay? You, the parent, you're not into that life, and you don't teach a kid about that life. You protect them from that life. You think they still going? No. I mean, when they go to public schools, my point is, these mothers are not even trying. They're not trying. They grow up on this music and they raise their kids on it. Most of them. That's just the truth. And a big reason why they end up like this, the boys, is because they're mothers are raising them on this culture. That is what it is. And black men, it's too prevalent for a lot of black men's liking. So they're throwing in the towel. They'd rather take their chances with Becky. And that's dangerous. You get a Brad blow their brains out. You know? Let her ex, some crazy ex, find out about you. That's dangerous too. But, you know, a lot of black men feel like if they're going to check out, they're going to check out that way. Take their chances. They view it as like you are guaranteed, you know, as if black females, it's a guaranteed negative experience. That's bad. When most of those men are highly productive. When most of those men are highly productive. In fact, if you ask me, all of them. That's a problem. I know some people might say, hey, it's just a small number of them. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't think it's a small number of them, especially when their population grows as fast as it does. Like I told you, I keep up with social media, YouTube, subscriber counts, and I've followed how fast this narrative catches on, how quickly black men flock to it. It's fast. It's at a high rate. It's just not at a high number right now. That's all you're dealing with. It's not at a high number, but it increases at a high, very high rate. That's a problem. That's a problem. You know, and if you ask me, if the entire black male population is exposed to that narrative and is asked whether or not they can relate, the total number would be a lot higher. It would be crazy, it would be through the roof. Not good for the maintenance of a people. Not good. So understand this. Nobody else has made a prediction like this. You're only getting this prediction here, and I know what I'm talking about. Black Americans are, if they are to stay on this planet, it would be a miracle. It would be a miracle. You need your own land. No matter who rules over black Americans, you're going to get slapped around. Because don't nobody like you. Don't nobody like you. Us. So that's bad. Well, how likely is it that black Americans get their own and rule over themselves? How likely is that? Very unlikely. And then you look at the, like relationship issues. It's pronounced. It's pronounced. The feminism did its job. And, we're about to end up in the history books. But hey, some of us saw it, tried to sidestep it. It didn't work. Now look, some of you black men, you want a black woman. And I'm sure there's some female versions of you out there. But how likely is it that you'll run into her? That's the thing. That's the thing. It make it unrealistic to even look. Right? You just settle for Ling Ling, a Latina, and take your chances, because Hector might touch you too. You know, Hectors don't like that. That's a big gamble. Whatever you do, you know, even if you go overseas. I heard some bad stories coming from over there. Brothers going over there getting drugged. Hey, you want to go to Cambodia or something? Don't leave your drink. And be careful. I had more than one family member, you know, kind of take L's overseas. They don't like us messing with their women. There's always somebody, you know, some of them don't care, but you always got some in the bunch who willing to spaz out on you. So listen, good luck. Good luck to the FBA lineage. You're in trouble. We are in trouble. We're in all kinds of trouble. Black women, I've told you what you need to do. In order for black Americans to stay on this planet, it's going to have to be a black woman. What she's going to have to do is shave their heads, stop dating for at least a year, take all that weight off, take it off. You got to start over, reset. If not that, better make sure. Listen, man, it's a wrap. Uncle Sam got us. I'm not even going to talk stupid. Uncle Sam got us. Okay? It was a fun ride while it lasted. A lot of fun memories. Okay? A lot of excellent music. This song right here by FBG Duck is one of the most creative songs I ever heard in my life. It's just unfortunate that the poison is in the lyrics. So, you know, I can't, but it's not really, I don't think this song is really that bad. Some of the songs he's done really disrespect the dead. That's just, how could you let that, how's that acceptable? I just don't understand that. Black America is seen as a very church-going, religious people. I understand some Sundays you don't go to church. Most of us still believe in, the Bible and stuff like that. Jesus. Most black people. Like, wouldn't at least that, disrespecting the dead, wouldn't that at least be a no-no? Something to rally against? Something to have a movement against? Give pushback to the establishment? Like, hey, this kind of rap is unacceptable. No, it got supported. Yeah, man. But yeah, this song he's got a lot of creative songs. He was a creative rapper. It's just sad so many geniuses. A lot of these guys are geniuses. Don't live past, don't even reach 20. It's crazy how many they have under this spell. And it's not, the more I learn about this, the more I question prominent figures who don't talk about it, who gloss over it, and, instead just talk about FBA culture. And listen, man, this is a problem. And if it's not a culture for the mothers of these boys to rally against this kind of music, why would you feel motivated to pick from that group of women a wife? You'd avoid that group of women like the plague. You don't even have a narrative coming from them in unity. You know, with the concern of the sons as a priority. You know, men are looking at stuff like that. What are you doing to protect them from end up in an early grave or in prison? What plans do you? We talk about black males. That's the biggest problem, isn't it? Us feeding the prison system, ending up in an early grave. What else is there to talk about? You can talk about black boys. What other problem is there other than early grave, prison, or being a bum? But black men who are not in prison or dead, most of them do well as far as taking care of themselves. Most as in the majority. Majority of them take care of themselves. So that's not a problem. The biggest problem is, you know, having this lifestyle of death where it's dangerous for you to even step outside by yourself. You don't need that. You don't need that. But it's too far gone now. You're not getting rid of it now. And being realistic, you have to understand where those black men are coming from. And it resonates most with black men who got something to lose. Those are the best types of black men available. Black men with good jobs, with careers, responsible, who got resources. Almost all of them are checking out. When you look at the ones checking out, it's mostly black men like that. And that's terrible. It's a well thought out agenda, you know, that they slipped in on us. But we saw it, we talked about it, but none of it helped. See, that's the thing. Black men are like, you know what? We done everything we could possibly do. Nothing has ever worked. Nothing has ever worked. So they're checking out. Very sad stuff. Oh no. So you need both. You need both. No. Right. Well, you cannot not have mothers. The way it's set up, you cannot have fathers. Yeah. A government that works against you. What a world.